that. And it's always so weird to do this for me because usually people are off camera and I'm just like, oh, kind of feel like talking to myself. But um that's why if you can say hi in the chat, that'd be great. I love connecting to people and then just seeing how this lands for you. Always great. Ideally, I would do this in person. Hi, Amy. But since it's so convenient to just jump on Zoom and do this, here I am doing it on Zoom. I just love teaching in general. I'm a psychotherapist, LMFT, practicing in East Bay, California. I live in Moraga. And once in a while, I throw these workshops because I love teaching and I love kind of taking what I learned about difficult topics, especially when it relates to business and money, and just having conversations about that, right? So that's kind of the inspiration or the energy behind this workshop is that I was reflecting on how hard it is to talk about money in general in our culture, but especially for therapists. It's like something I feel like we all struggle. Well, I certainly can speak for myself, and I meet a lot of people who struggle with this idea that not only we are in helping profession and we do this incredibly meaningful, deep work, we also a business and we are charging money for it. And we are a lot of us who are in private practice, the truth of it is that we need to provide for our family, we need to pay bills. And so this is like this feels the struggle for us, like how do we charge money for something that feels so valuable, but also doesn't feel like maybe, it's a tangible thing. So that's what I feel like goes into our struggles to talk about money. And also as a field. So let's just reflect on as a field, as a collective, that therapists are often underpaid and just as a field, right? And especially if you think like when you were an intern, how much did you make when you were an intern? I'm surely like, after finishing my master's degree and getting a job at the agency, working with extremely hard population, serving the folks of people with trauma and poverty, and getting paid like $25 per hour was, I would do it for free because I was so passionate about it. And nobody goes into this work for money, I feel like, but also when we're not compensated for our efforts, there's a lot of times there's burnout because we give more than we receive in terms of compensation. And also, if you guys ever experienced working for companies like Talkspace and BetterHelp, uh, this is stuff that kind of drives me absolutely crazy when companies like that kind of profit on our inability to charge money for our services, or like us not valuing ourselves. Because so BetterHelp, I worked with for them a little bit, and I think they're compensated like $45 for 30-minute session or something like that. And I don't know, I just always get mad because I'm like, oh, I went to school for this. I do this incredibly valuable work, and then I get paid so little that I can provide for my children. So yeah, it's yeah. So somebody else had this experience. 60 minutes. So wow. Yeah, it's just brutal. The rates, the compensation, even insurances. Don't get me started on that, right? It's just just so frustrating because even insurances, I was planning to Cigna at one point, and I was like, I don't know, it was like $90 or $70. And it's just like, really? We do like, it just drives me absolutely crazy. The fact that we so underappreciated. And I do feel like we gotta take responsibility for some of that as well as therapists, because we sort of agree to it, right? And then the system takes advantage of our uh, maybe inability to take care of ourselves, or inability to um, just I don't know. There's a we can that's more like exploration, and I'm curious what you guys think about that. But it's just overall as a field, I see this issue, right? This issue that when we're not compensated by companies and insurances, but also that we as a field feel guilt about charging money for our services. That's pretty much universal. Maybe you don't. I'm curious to hear from you. I certainly do, or did, and that made me look into my relationship with money, because I just couldn't. I felt so bad charging, because I wanted to help and I wanted to do this good thing, and money always felt like, well, wrong, to charge for this work that feels uh, on one side so valuable, and then how do you price that? And so that kind of forced me into just diving into my own just exploration relationship with money. Like, what is it for me? Um just what I like, what are my truths about money, right? What are my relationship with it? um and so why do I think it's important for us to talk about this, is because when we do our work with money and we come into this good relationship with it, meaning that we feel good about charging, and then we just see this money is for what it is, uh, just clear out all these projections onto money, I think we can model that for our field, and for other therapists to come into this good relationship, what I think good relationship with money is. And for me, good relationship with money is when I don't feel guilt or shame around this topic, and when I don't feel fear and scarcity, when I feel kind of like neutral. That's for me what I want. It's not even about how much I make, although I do want to make a lot of money. That'd be great. But that's not the main goal. For me, the main goal is to feel good about it, have a good, like, solid relationship where free of guilt, shame, and fear. And that's what I want to offer here. How do we do that? How do we come into that relationship? And you guys can put in the chat, I wonder what you want to take away from this conversation. And maybe and also maybe there is like a money goal, and a lot of times there's shame, I feel like, with owning our desires with money or material things, right? Because we're like, well, we're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to serve. Our profession is helping profession, is serving profession. And so we are trained to be selfless, to not have desires, to put ourselves last. And that also plays out in our relationship with money when we don't take care of our needs, because money is linked to survival. We all need money to pay the bills, and so when we can't earn that, when we can't put a price or a rate that's honorable to us, then we're not taking care of our own needs, and so we're not really prioritizing our needs and wants, right? Because there's nothing wrong with wanting, I don't know, vacation or something materialistic, but in our field, we feel shame and guilt about it, usually, because we're supposed to be in service. I feel like as a field, again, we are conditioned to be selfless and offer ourselves and put ourselves last. but then that's not really in service to our clients, really. But we're conditioned to believe that. So here's what you guys think about that. So it's like I said, I'm talking to myself. I love teaching and I love having this conversation, but it's also like, oh, I just wonder how this lands for you guys, what resonates. Because my yeah. Oh, thank you, Caitlin. It's so I I love breaking. I love talking about things taboo, and money is such a taboo topic, and sort of like reclaiming our right to talk about this without shame or guilt. Um, so my own story is that I come from, you can probably hear, have an accent. I come from Eastern Europe, Belarus, which is right above Ukraine. So speak Russian as my first language. And then I came to US when I was 18. And so think Eastern Europe before, like think USSR, right? USSR. So you can imagine that I grew up very, very, like probably, you think American middle class is, but it's not the same as our middle class or what used to be. So probably basically generational poverty. I would say generational poverty is my lineage. And so that's basically not having many toys when I was growing up, very limited resources. Parents always stressed about money and like real like survival stuff because the government, we know how Russian government still is. It's basically government can come and take your money, or this economy is very unstable. So a lot of just survival stuff in my DNA. And so I had a lot of survival kind of mingled into money and finances. And basically, for me, money was always like entangled with fear. Like I always just felt this like not enough scarcity, like I'm gonna die. I'm gonna, money is just it's still like it took a lot of work on that, uh, working on my nervous system and then tangling money and fear and scarcity because of my lineage. And this is one of the things I was going to talk about like how your lineage affects your relationship with money. It's one of the pieces in this puzzle. But for me, that was like huge, just so much fear, survival, and I see that in people as well, and here in the US also. So it's probably a universal thing. It's probably if you were from another country, you felt that even more. But it's just something we do. It's like money, security, safety, and then our own stuff around safety gets projected onto money, right? And then if we have trauma, that's gets projected onto money as well. And I'll say so. Yeah, not having enough. Exactly. That's very, Caitlin, very common in our field. We not having enough as people know will get time to leave and find something more. Exactly. So so I'll talk about this more portable. Yeah. But, yeah. Oh, Benit. So yeah, and I'm an immigrant, right? So I came here alone. And so money was like, I just need it for survival, and just so much fear, so much stress. It's really very deeply unpleasant until I decided to work on it, to address it, to look into my own relationship with money. And that's how I learned this idea that, okay, let's untangle. So there's a lot of generational things, right? So I started to untangle, okay, like what are my beliefs about money? What are generational beliefs about money? And how do I create my own relationship with money? So now, so that took me, like, I took a lot of trainings, did a lot of work around money. Probably last 5 years I'm working on this. It's a process, guys. It's a process. Not like, it's a lot there. Turns out money is never about money. And there's a lot of things that kind of get entangled in money. So money, what I came to as my truth after doing all this work and taking all these trainings, what I realized is that what feels true for me, and you guys can reflect on your own truths, but for me, it feels like money is really neutral energy. It's a tool. It's an energy of exchange that we do, but it's really neutral in terms of, like, it's not bad or good. It's what we do with it. It's like a tool. It's something very neutral, really. The feeling of it, well, once we untangle out of those projections. But because it's so neutral, it becomes this perfect, like, projector, right? Like, it becomes a perfect projector of our stuff. We project so much onto money because it's so neutral, because it's like kind of like there. And then all our stuff is perfectly can be displayed in our relationship with money, which is like a cool idea. So one of this training I took, it was like 7-8 months program where we dive into our money stuff. And our trainer, she was like a money psychologist. So she was a psychologist, but kind of specialize in money. She always said, money is never about money. So I find it interesting. Like, okay, if it's not about money, what is it? What is it for me? Which led me to a lot of deep explorations. So let's start with this. If you guys are sitting and have something to journal, or you can put it in the chat. Let's start with a simple reflection on how our parents' relationship with money has affected us. Sometimes, like, even that, like, bringing awareness to your generational piece will create a lot of, like, aha moments, a lot of realizations. So if you put it in the chat or just journal. So my mom's relationship with money was, and then you can think of it, you can journal. Just give it a moment to reflect. My mom, yeah, I'll give you, how about I'll give you 30 seconds and then I'll tell you my story. 30 seconds to reflect. Okay, now put mine in the chat. Okay, so just think about your mom and just get a feeling for what her relationship with money was. Because when I think about that, like, when I remember my mom, and she was like, she put money above everything else. So she, like, valued money, like, worshiped money. And she was a workaholic. And so she kind of chosen making money over spending time with me. And as a child, I get a message that I am not as valuable as money, that money is more important than me. And how it translated in my own work is that I did this thing until I worked with it, that I will always put work above my own needs. And I would do like client sessions back to back. I don't know if you guys ever did that, but it would be like 5 sessions back to back with no breaks, because I was so like, money was so important that my needs were not important. So that's the conditioning I got from my mom, that you have to work hard, you have to put money above everything else, and money is more important than you. And my mom did it to herself too. She would work so hard and then come home and collapse. So for her, money was the most valuable thing in the world. Still is probably. But I had to, had to really look at that in my own relationship with money, because that's the model I got. So we're always gonna inherit our parents' beliefs and conditioning around money. And then we'll take 30 seconds and move with my dad's relationship. And by the way, always free to share in the chat what was your mom's relationship with money, with dad's? What beliefs did you inherit? Okay. So my dad's relationship with money was, he was like, I don't need it. I don't need it. It's not important. Um, I don't need anything. So my dad would he wears like clothes for like 10, 15 years. So he just like, I don't need it. And so there's a lot of like self-denial and not following his wants, even needs, very minimal. Okay. All right, Keithlin. Sure, I'll send you a recording. So you can, again, or you can look, so I use this tool that I love into diving into your money generational stories, that called family constellations. You guys familiar with that? It's not that popular here in the US. It's very popular in like Russia and some other countries. And basically you can put in constellation the money, the money stories from mom's lineage, dad's lineage, and then you can see they just kind of come up and then you untangle. You do the work of untangling those stories from your own reality. And the reality of this time and day, well, at least I see it. I could be wrong, but I feel like US is not as, it's put it this way, it's more abundant than the time and country that my parents grew up. So for my parents, money was scarce for real. Like that was the reality. And now I'm in the Bay Area, 2025 in US, and it's different, right? It's just a different reality. But I could be carrying those scarcity programs from my lineage and not really realizing that, okay, I have more opportunities. It's just more available here. America is a more abundant country than USSR back in the day. So that's probably like the first piece of I'm kind of gonna, so basically what I'm doing here, I'm walking you through what I learned about like where our main money blocks could come from, right? Like what are the main issues, you can say, money blocks, money issues that you could have. And one of them would be generational conditioning, generational stories. So that's one. Um, Another piece that I found and worked through in my own healing of my money relationship is unworthiness, not feeling good enough wound. So this will often come in our relationship with clients, because the truth of it is, when we provide a service, we provide it through our presence, through ourselves. It's not like we are selling hot dogs, right? Or like our product. So when I sell a product, it's easier for me to untangle myself from this product, right? Like if I'm selling this water bottle, it doesn't matter that I don't feel good enough. The water bottle is water bottle. But when we sell something so intangible, like therapy, and therapy, I still feel like no matter what our tool is, it still comes. It, yes, exactly. It's not. It's so subjective, right? It's like what are there to receive? How do you put a price tag on it? How do you know if it's worth $100 or $300? And so it's very tricky. In our own worthiness will definitely leak into our pricing if we don't address it. So for me, when I was feeling this not good enoughness, all the good normal psychology stuff that we help our clients with, we also have it, right? Like a lot of us. So I had like unworthiness wound and not enoughness. And I always feel like imposter, like asking for money, like what am I yeah, absolutely. It's present. Absolutely. And so I'm like, well, why, what am I even providing? Like, is it worth like this much? Like, it's just like an hour with me, it's hard. And that's, I feel like an imposter syndrome and really us struggling to charge, uh, can be tied to unworthiness and not good enoughness. I don't know if you guys feel that or wear that, agree with me. But for me, working on that gave me um, gave me the ability to disentangle that the worthiness from my price, like just separating them and feeling that, okay, if I discovered that, okay, I'm inherently worthy just because I exist. I don't need anything to prove it. It's just we all are worthy, uh, just because we are. That's already given. So then I can charge according to the training that I have, the amount of time, the amount of years, my expertise, uh, and what I provide to client, right? And believing in that transformation and knowing that transformation will happen, trusting yourself and feeling your worthiness. Basically, feeling your worthiness will help you charge for your time. And also, imposter syndrome for me is always was tied into like inner critic and self-doubt. And so working through that also helps with becoming more confident in charging and not feeling like this like, oh my God, I gotta like charge and take this money. Like, oh my God, I feel so bad. How do I like not feel that? Right. Um and that's shame and guilt that could be projected onto money. Again, if we think about money is this projection screen, then it can bring up a lot of uncomfortable feelings, unresolved feelings that will project into money and money exchange, especially like when we're running out of business and we have to charge. Yeah, with somebody mentioned like clients will leave, right? So that's another thing. So that could be a belief. So basically, what what I'm trying to tell you or show you here is that all those things, all those money issues, they like a doorway for us to look, to open and go and see what's behind that door, behind that issue, what kind of deeper transformation is available. So, for example, with the belief, like if I charge more, clients will leave, or the feeling that if I gonna take care of myself, I will be abandoned. So that could be, I'm not saying it is, we have to see, but it could be tied into your childhood dynamic of always needing to take care of others. And if you took care of yourself, then you were abandoned. You were told like that's not okay. You're selfish for taking care of yourself. You're selfish to charge how much you want to charge because that's not okay. That wasn't okay in your family system. Your job was to take care of others. That's your job, and it's still your job. To this day. That's why you became a therapist. So a lot of times it's this dynamic that's playing out. If I charge how much I need to do to charge so I can provide for myself and my family and feel good about taking day off, then I'll be rejected, I'll be abandoned, I'll be criticized. Other therapists will criticize me, right? That's a thing. Like um, there's so many therapists upset about coaches, for example, because coaches charge a lot of money. I know coaches who charge $500 for one session, uh, and they probably do. I don't think they vastly different from as far as the training and expertise. Uh, I don't know. My personal opinion, they're not that much different from a lot of us, but they could do it. They could charge $500 per session because maybe they don't have the same dynamic as we do. So that's why I feel like it's so important to examine those things. Um, Yeah, exactly. I mean, and Amy said if clients do leave because they need a lower fee, then it opens a space for a client who pay our full fee. It's an opportunity for a need to be met. Exactly. So that's a I would say healthier belief, right? Or stance where you say, well, I feel my fee right now needs to be X, whatever it is, and feeling free in determining that, right? Like feeling free that okay, I feel like my fee right now needs to be this much, and then that's what I need. And you communicate it to a client, and client says like, oh man, I can't afford that. And you say, okay, yeah, I understand that. Let me provide you other resources, or yeah, that's might not work for you. And you give them time to transition. But that seems fair if it's not about you when they leave. It's about them taking care of themselves, and your fee is about you taking care of yourself. Then it's feels clean, right? It feels clean. But when it starts to be like, oh, they leave, and and I'm a bad person, and I'm abandoning them. But I'm really abandoning myself, then it's something there for us to work through. So see how money stuff, this relationship with client, charging, running a business, like advertising, asking for what we want, becomes this tool for deep work, transformation, looking at our things, our stuff, like our, unresolved issues. That's why I feel like running a business and becoming, when you're in private practice and you're basically running a business, your business can become this door into your transformation and bring up all this unresolved stuff from childhood to be worked through. And I feel like that's a cool thing. It's not fun, but it's like, becomes this ongoing journey of self-discovery and transformation through the path of building a business and working with money. So another thing I was going to mention about money is, like I said, because it's so uh, neutral, the energy is neutral, it will project and will bring up this unresolved feelings. And so a lot of times it's this emotional experience that we have around money. And for me, it was shame. For a long time, it was just so much shame and guilt about wanting money or needing money. And that's about probably, what I learned as I dove into this exploration, that I was shamed or feel shamed of for having needs and wants as a child. So because my parents couldn't meet my wants, uh, they felt shame for not being able to, satisfy my wants, and so they shamed me for wanting. And then I inherited this belief that my wants and needs are not okay. I can't have my wants and needs, and that it's really painful. I don't know if any of you have the same um, belief or kind of history, but it's like so painful when your wants are shamed and denied, and it's like, or rejected. It kind of crushes you right here in your heart, in this chest area, and it's like, just not a fun moment. And it will show up through money, because money is material representation of our wants and needs. So if something like this, if you have something like this in your history, it will play out in your relationship with money. Let's see. Yeah, and that pushes you. So when your needs and wants are shamed, when you learn very early, okay, I can't have my needs. That's not important. It's okay. I don't need this. I can get by. Kind of like what my dad had a lot of this, like, it's okay. I don't want anything. Um, Deep down, really having those wants, but not allowing them to come up and not owning them, but more like, no, it's okay. Like, no, it's, false humility kind of dynamic. This pushes us into being a savior for our clients when it's all about them, right? It's all about them. It's a very comfortable place to be in service. Uh, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful part of our work. And my question is, can it really be in service to our clients if we are not taking care of ourselves and self-abandoning in this process? Can I be an effective therapist if I'm not modeling, embodying what I teach, right? I teach self-care. I teach staying with yourself. And then if I'm not able to do that by whatever, charging how much I need to charge, or having boundaries, then I think I become less effective because I'm not embodying the same principles that I teach. And it's certainly been a process. I don't know about you guys. It's been definitely a process of transformation and learning how to take care of myself, including with money, including with charging. So savior dynamics, so I put a couple like main things is generational beliefs about money, unworthiness, not feeling not good enough, uh, savior dynamic / denying your own needs, self-abandonment. That's kind of like one category. And emotional experiences about money. I mentioned fear, survival stuff that gets tangled into money. There could be shame, guilt, which is internalized anger a lot of times. So anger. Yeah, grief, maybe not so much. I haven't seen a lot of grief, but could be entangled as well. Okay, let's talk about solutions. Solutions to all of this, right? So what do we do? Well, we're therapists, so we know what to do. Doing our work, well, first of all, even having conversations like this, just bringing awareness, kind of like looking at our beliefs about money, like bringing awareness into what we project onto money, that money is like bad or evil or um, what's wrong with the world, right? Like basically all those beliefs that probably not gonna help us to be in good relationship with money. So journaling maybe about that, journaling about relationship with your lineage and what was their relationship with money like, and how it affected you. That could be good. Bringing, so basically, we're talking about solutions. We're bringing awareness into into our relationship with money. So as far as generational block, you could explore, reflect on how it was for your parents, for your grandparents, and how it's affecting you. For unworthiness, not good enough, you probably work on that with your clients. So you might have your process. So it's probably, similar process, like some people call it inner child healing work. I would always include like working with that critical parent or inner critic, because that tends to hold a lot of those kind of not devaluing ourselves, telling us, oh, you don't know much, you can't charge this much. So working with inner aggression, that's always my favorite topic. I wouldn't be here talking to you and kind of like explaining all this if I didn't work through tons of um, inner aggression, inner criticism, inner perfectionism, all that blocks that let us not letting us really feel ourselves, feel our energy come into fullness of our being, and that will affect our ability to charge and show up right for our clients. What else? As far as we're talking about solutions and steps, owning our wants and desires. Yeah, but by the way, we can tap into it right now and just I love doing this exercise where we all share our wants. You don't have to if you don't feel comfortable, but it's kind of fun. And you could put it in the chat. And I honestly, what I want, uh, let's see. I want what I want to facilitate transformational spaces. Like I want to be able to get a group of therapists together and to do this deep inner work about money, about worthiness, about visibility, and yeah, help people heal as a collective. I would love that. I've been wanting that for a while now, and that's part of why I'm doing this class. Is like, well, let's see if I can make it happen. Let's see if people are interested in that. And so see, like I'm talking about my want right now. It feels extremely vulnerable. I feel this like here, it's like like it's so hard. It's so hard to for me. And maybe you resonate if you in this call, maybe this you came here for a reason to receive something from you. Maybe that's a transmission that it's like owning our wants is so vulnerable. It's so like scary. And yeah, that's feels expensive. It feels right. Um, Yeah, I want to start a revolution of therapists charging a lot of money for their work and feeling so valuable in our society that people people like, oh, I want to be a therapist, and that means I'm going to be prosperous. Not like I want to be a therapist, and that means I'm not going to have any money. That'll be cool. That's what I want. That'll be pretty amazing. Oh, so owning our wants, doing this work, and really connecting to our deep desires and wants, um, and working through emotions, working through uncomfortable emotions, feeling the shame, feeling the fear, feeling the anger. It's that it will help your relationship with money, surprisingly, because we will, yeah, it will all surface um in our relationship with money, the unresolved emotional experience. One thing I also found really helpful as far as like solutions and steps is working um, with nervous system regulation. Again, something we teach as therapists, but so helpful because of, well, but it's my, if you had, I think beneath said resonated with my experience as an immigrant and having money tied into survival. So that would activate my nervous system so much that I couldn't, it was just really hard to um, deal with money or have a relationship with money without feeling safety, without feeling like my safety, like money is my safety, like money equals safety. So I need money to feel safe. And when money is running out or I'm not making what I feel like I need enough, then my nervous system would be in such an overdrive that sometimes it would be hard to function. And it's a trauma response to not feeling safe. So doing nervous system regulation and trauma work and entangling safety and money helped me to feel safe, uh, regardless of money. Basically, I don't need to rely on money just to be my savior from feeling unsafe. Hope it makes sense. So basically learning how to be safe um, by by my own self. It's created some space, some breathing room for me in my relationship with money. So then all of those things, right? So I talked to all of those things, all this inner work. So money then becomes this door that we can enter to discover ourselves, have to learn about ourselves, and to do this work, this inner work that I feel like that's what we're about, right? As therapists, um, and and that inner work will then bring you a more settled nervous system around money, less shame, less guilt, just more positive feelings about it. And then I really love this phrase that I heard from this coach I've seen online, and she said, "Money is a byproduct of the person you become." And I really love that because it kind of it puts focus not on like money as like, oh, I need to make whatever, like this amount, but it's more about who you are and how you're showing up, and then trusting that will give you the money, the abundance, that we all want, and it's so human to want that. But it's not the main sort of like goal, right? Um, it's not the main, um, yeah, the main goal, the main purpose, because it's not because money is not about money. It's always about something else. Uh, and yeah, and we all want to be not want to be stressed about it, and that's also very human to want money. So allowing ourselves that I feel like it's okay too. Okay. Well, I've been talking a lot. I want to hear if you guys have any questions or comments. Maybe what resonated with you, what you going away with. And by the way, I'm gonna drop just my contact information and the place for you to connect with me if you want to continue this, if you want to meet one-on-one and have your camera on. Let me just find this. Yes. Yes, Charles said, I think in many ways we consciously and unconsciously create what shows up for us in our practice. For many years, I hung exactly around money and wondered why I didn't have any of it. Energetically, we attract what we think we deserve. Exactly. So that goes back to my talk on worthiness, right? If I don't feel worthy, I'm not gonna receive. If I don't feel like I deserve abundance, deserve good things, I'm gonna block it in receiving. I also think of everything in terms of energy. So I do believe it's all about our energy, and cleaning that up will, will help. So Charles, do you have a better relationship with money now? What does it look like now? Do you just get my and if you work through that, then nice. There's always layers, right? There's also this work is like never done, getting better. Yeah. It's a process for sure. I'm gonna put my contact info. So if you wanna get just a connection call with me and talk about it, just in private, not recorded. Happy to do that and get your yeah, your money story and what's happening there. We can talk about that. Um and again, for me, this is like something I wanted to do to connect to other therapists and see what's happening with them and their money and get some feedback. So it's really fun. I felt like I was gonna go. The information was gonna coming out of these things. It's really fun. Yeah, you're welcome. Welcome. Yeah. And I would say maybe as a final takeaway that worthiness, um, feeling like I deserve to receive was probably the main kind of game changers. And worthiness is such a deep place. So that's also a process, not like you know, just like, okay, we're worthy. It's a process for sure, but it's certainly worth it for me to do this work. And also dropping that. Yeah, and like I said, I would love to create spaces for people to reflect on money and do their own work. So I'll keep you posted on that. I don't know what's gonna happen. Just something that I'm excited about. And just untangling a therapist from this martyr image of always sacrificing for the sake of others. But really, what if we can create a standard in our profession where we are so nourished and so self-full that we model it for others. Okay, all right, guys. Thank you so much. Stay in touch, and I'll send you the recording. Feel free to forward it to those who need it. Thank you for coming. Yay. Great time. Okay, bye.